Hello, this is Ken Bottager, also known as BadKen on the BattleForge forums, and Carch in the game. In this video, I'll show you a playthrough of Encounters with Twilight, first BattleForge PvE map. It's on Expert difficulty, and I'm using a full nature deck. I start off here by summoning a few shamans. I do this because it's a little more power efficient to use the shamans to heal the allies. I know I'll need shamans eventually. So the first couple of shamans move up here and heal the North Guards that are fighting off a Twilight Devastator. And they didn't really have to do that. The North Guards could have killed the Devastator on their own, but it saves a little time. Now the shamans go and pull the first group of Twilight enemies from the east. I have 4 shamans at this point, and I build myself a power well. Broken Kale here can't decide if he wants to fight or not. Doesn't matter, the North Guards finish off the enemies, Twilight enemies anyway. Shamans head off to the east to help a group of North Guards that's fighting a couple of brutes. There's also a couple of Twilight hags there, so I build a Mark of the Keeper to hold them off. The shamans finish off the brutes, and I bring in a couple of units of werebeasts to engage the hags. I could have used Windweavers there, but the werebeasts look a little tougher. Once the hags are dead, I destroy the Mark of the Keeper to get that power back in my void pool and destroy the tower. So now that I have my second orb building, I can bring in Era 2 units, and the first ones I'm going to bring in are some Parasite Swarms. I'm going to steal some Twilight units. The first group of Twilight units that come in is a Twilight Slaver that blows up when it dies, and a couple of Twilight Whisperers. And I'm stealing the Twilight Whisperers because they have a nice chain heal. They're kind of the equivalent of a Nature's Era 3 unit, the Time Shifter Spirit. I don't steal the Twilight Vileblood, this big guy that just died there, because he leaves a big toxic pile of goo when he dies, and it's kind of hard to deal with because it hurts your allies. You don't want him dying in the middle of your group. I'm bringing in some Spike Roots next. They take on an enemy on their own, but then another Vileblood comes in, and the Spike Root really can't take out the Vileblood on his own, so he retreated. I'm using Rogue and Kale here to do as much as I can, because he's a pretty strong unit for the starting here. Once I have 3 Spike Roots, I can move them up and start killing buildings. 3 Spike Roots do considerable amount of damage. So they're going to take out the first infestation there and a couple more groups of enemies, and I'm building a couple more power wells here. Now, I want to take my time before I head off to the southwest and take care of those buildings in the southwest, because I want to make sure that I have all of the groups of patrolling units taken care of, so I don't have any surprises when I'm killing the buildings and the towers. I move over and I take care of those 2 towers and another infestation, and it turns out that I didn't wait long enough, or my timing wasn't right, because another Vileblood came in and killed my power well there. But no biggie, I'll just build it up again. So now that I'm building my 3rd nature orb, I can start bringing in Razorleafs, and they're going to make up the backbone of my army for the rest of this map. Another Vileblood comes in here, and I killed it a little bit too close to my power well, so it's Vileblood killed the power well, made me waste a little power there. I'm going to move off to the east, prevent that happening again. Now, it's important for me to have a Razorleaf at this point, because coming up next is a Twilight Brute, and they're very strong, and it's also got a lot of support units with it. So the Spike Roots alone would not be enough to kill it. In fact, this fight's a little bit messy. I had to use Creeping Paralysis there to freeze things a bit. And the way my Razorleaf is attacking the Twilight Hags, it allowed the Twilight Brute to kill all my Spike Roots, which is unfortunate. But I did survive the battle. And we'll continue on to clear out the rest of this area. Razorleafs really make a great foundation for a PvE nature deck. Not only do they have powerful attack and defense, but they can also attack air and ground units. And the root network they form adds even more attack power. And you can increase the root network bonus with relatively cheap living towers. That's what I do here. I back up these 3 Razorleafs with a living tower. I want to camp out here behind this gate for a little while so that I can take care of any wandering units, and so that I don't get any surprises when I move north to attack the buildings. I bring in a group of swamp drakes to do some hit and run attacks and provide a little scouting so that I know when the north area is clear there and I can move up. Now here you see the first of many pair of Twilight brutes that come in from the center of the map. I'm using creeping paralysis to pin them down on my towers, and Razorleafs finish them off. I want to time my move out of this gate so that I won't be running into them at an opportune moment. I'm going to continue the hit and run attacks with my drakes, taking out a tower there and a couple other units. And they will also provide me early warning when the pair of brutes is coming up. Creeping paralysis is really powerful in conjunction with a group of stationary units like this. So now there was actually an extra brute kind of wandering around up there, and this group is going to have 3 brutes in it, which I probably wouldn't have been able to take out without the creeping paralysis. Now the area up north is getting pretty cleared up now. I have 4 Razorleafs brought in, so it's time to move up and start killing buildings. Got a little bit surprised by a couple of brutes there. A little bit of a messy fight because the brutes had some allies, but made it through okay with the healing. And got a quick living tower up there to increase my root network. When the next pair of brutes came up, I decided to go back to my living tower to keep my root network intact. The reason I'm going west here first is that there's an air tower there that I want to kill before I move my drakes in to start clearing the center area. So the air tower is down. I had to use entangling roots there in addition to creeping paralysis to keep those 2 brutes off, but now that I'm sending my drakes after that building, we're not going to get any more Twilight brutes now that that building is gone. So that makes the rest of this area considerably easier without pairs of brutes coming every 30 or 40 seconds or however fast it is. It's pretty fast. Now I have 5 Razorleafs, and that's pretty much an invincible group of Razorleafs right there. 5 Razorleafs backed up with a living tower to increase their roots do just a massive amount of damage. They can one-hit buildings. You see here that there's a Twilight Dragon coming in from the east, and the 5 Razorleafs with the help of the dragons just take it down in no time. I didn't even build a living tower in the middle section here. I just went ahead and started attacking things. I'm feeling actually pretty invincible with my 5 Razorleafs at this point. Swamp Drakes can take on a tower by themselves. And we've only got a few units left until this north area is cleared and we can go meet the final boss. Now you'll notice I didn't build up that 4th orb yet, and the reason for that is that I didn't quite have enough power. So I'm going to get this power well first, then go back to the center and grab the 4th orb, and that will enable me to build Era 4 units. Actually, I'm pretty close to my unit limit at this point. With a couple of more XL units, go over the edge. Fortunately, 5 Razorleafs is powerful enough to take on the final boss. And notice here I moved one of the Razorleafs back. I'm trying to be careful here not to get the attention of the final boss too early. Anyway, 5 Razorleafs plus the 5 Swamp Drakes that I have going there with the healing is probably enough to take on the final boss, but he needs to be engaged in melee combat or his attack strength is much higher. So I'm bringing in a Colossus and a couple units of Werebeasts, and the Werebeasts are there because The boss has a paralyzing attack, and I don't want the Colossus to be tied up with the paralyzing attack, so I send in the Werebeast first. Then everybody's in, and just pounding on the Twilight Wrathgazer. The mixed range units in this final attack are really good because some of them will switch to attacking the spirits that are trying to make their way to the Wrathgazer, and you do not want those spirits to make it to the Wrathgazer. One of them heals it, one of them causes a huge AoE attack, and another one causes a massive frost attack that is pretty much impossible to recover from. So you can see the Razorleafs are just doing a massive amount of damage to the boss. He's not going to last very long. I had to bring in another Colossus after I lost my first one, but it's pretty much all over now. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this replay, and I hope you find it helpful.